Good evening, everybody. Welcome. It's my monitor was a little crooked. Sorry. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome. It's Tuesday night and it's time for our weekend recap. Tonight's weekend recap is a little different. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, hey, let's talk about all the things that we did and what we were able to see and interact with some of the local businesses around the area over the course of the last. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Wait a minute. Okay. Apparently, I didn't realize that was the first slide in the slide deck. But anyway, hey, welcome. It's Tuesday. The things we did and the places we saw and the people we were able to talk to, uh, it would not be a week if there wasn't at least one trip to Shadrack's. In this case, the past week, we managed to make it to both of the Shadrack's locations here in town, the one on Linwood and the one on West Kings Highway. So it was at least a double Shadrack's kind of week. By the way, speaking of Shadrack's, in case you haven't heard and you weren't aware, um, Saturday, and I'm not super excited about this, but Saturday is Nine Punch Day at Shadrack's. And I know you're probably thinking, well, I don't understand. Why aren't you excited about getting nine punches per drink with the amount that you go to Shadrack's? You'd think you'd be excited about that. And I was like, well, I would be, except that Saturday we're going to be at the farmers market, and generally it's we get up and we go to the farmers market and we set up all the stuff. We get a good portion of the stuff. Usually we get the big heavy stuff in place. All the furniture type items. We get all those set up, and then while Jersey goes ahead and puts the plushies on the shelves and gets everything arranged the way that she wants it to look, she sends me to Shadrack's to go get something to drink. Well, here's the part where uh, Nine Punch Day becomes a bit of an issue, and that is that by the time I'm going to be wanting to go to Shadrack's, everybody in town is going to want to go to Shadrack's because it's Nine Punch Day, and that means I'm going to have to wait in a really long line, and I'm just not excited about that. So yeah, it's just kind of all about me right now. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we did. We made it to both of the Shadracks here in town this week, or this past week. Went and saw my chiropractor, Slayton Chiropractic, this past week and got adjusted. That was very much appreciated after the Local Fest. Yeah, after spending 2 days at Local Fest and all the lugging back and forth and things and stuff that we did for that, having being able to kind of get put back in order a little bit, and definitely was very appreciated and helped relieve some of that pain that I feel quite often in my lower back. And because I ain't getting any younger, there was a stop by Corner Drugs this week in order to pick up those lovely monthly prescriptions. Saturday was the first of two fall farmers markets at the Paragould Pavilion in downtown Paragould. Um, the main season for the Paragould Farmers Market runs um from the middle of May through the end of August, and then there's a break for a couple of weeks, and then the last 2 weeks in September, which this year's the 21st and the 28th, last Saturday and this coming Saturday, were the fall market at the Paragould Farmers Market. So lots of vendors there. There's still a very good mix of things available to you, but as the season progresses and as um, you know the different items become available and to be harvested, you see different things at the market. One of and that's not a bad thing. It's just, that's just the way that, growing works. So it's just, yeah, different things there, but still a good selection of stuff. And it was nice to see. Steel and Stitches was there, set up, had some with all of the cool crochet stuff. It's kind of funny. Um, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna say it. I think it's really funny, and I have perhaps a little bit of a skewed perspective of this, but this is the way I see it anyway. Is that I've uh, been with Steel and Stitches over the last couple of years as we've been going to markets and we've been doing things, and I've seen the products that she puts out, and um, I think it's we're going to go on a deep dive rant here. We're going to go down a sidetrack, and you're going to have to follow me with it because this actually I'm gonna show you how I hope that I'm going to be able to demonstrate how some people's actions are stupid, short-sighted, and detrimental to everyone. Uh, so over the last couple of years, I've been going to markets with Steel and Stitches, and I've watched her, the products that she makes and the products that she sells and stuff like that. And I think it's funny. Um, we enjoy seeing other fiber artists when we go to the markets. We usually go talk to them and have conversations with them and stuff as we have time, as the opportunity prevents itself, because it's like they're all doing the same thing. You're all making these amazing creations out of yarn and crocheting stuff and knitting stuff, and it's just really cool to see all the different stuff that gets made. But here's the funny thing, and I can say this from the perspective of I know how long these products have been being made. Um, so when I say that, um, I go to a market like the farmers market, and there are a couple other fiber artists there, and the first couple weeks everybody's kind of got their own thing, and then you start seeing the same stuff show up in other vendor booths. Some of the vendors are even ballsy enough that they actually just walk up to your booth and take pictures of your stuff so they know what to make for the next week. Um, and y'all, that's stupid. It's very short sighted, extremely short sighted, because here's what happens. If you have um, three people that are making three items, then that means there are three possibilities for someone to purchase something. Okay. Now, is everybody going to purchase the same thing? No. Is everybody going to purchase from the same person? No. Okay. But if you have three people with three unique products, that means that 100 people, if say 100 people, well, let's just say 10 people. Okay. So if there are 10 people that come to a market and they see three vendors that are selling three different things, those 10 people potentially will buy three things, right? Now, if 10 people come to a market and there are three people, but those three people are all making the same three things, or they're all making the same thing. So now what you've done is you've cut the number of options that people have from three down to one. And if your option doesn't happen to match with what those people need. They just gonna walk on by. So, and then of the people that will buy, they're not going to buy something from each person. They're going to buy from one person. So you're reducing the total amount of potential sales. You are increasing competition to the point of just, now instead of having three distinct products that people can buy, you have three people that are competing to sell the same product. And that means that you've only got so many people that are going to buy that one product, and now you just reduced by at least 30% the amount of product that's going to be sold and the number of people that are going to make purchases. Excuse me, you've decreased by 60% the amount of product that's going to total product that will be sold and purchases that will be made. So nobody has a good day when that happens. That's what makes it stupid. Furthermore, it goes on that if you can't develop kind of a personal style, if you can't develop a personal niche, a thing that people know you for, if you just go copy whatever happens to, if you go to the market this week and you just happen to copy what you see selling good this week and that's what you sell next week, nobody knows what you've got. They don't have the ability to be able to go to you and say, hey, I know that you make these things. Can you do this thing for me? Because they just don't know, because you're all over the place. You're doing this thing and then you're doing that thing and then you're somewhere over here, and then you just disappear for a few weeks and you and then you so it just doesn't help. It doesn't help anybody, and all it does is create frustration. So I don't understand, really don't understand that idea. But like I said, it's funny because I have noticed this. That I have noticed a couple of vendors that have whether they just think that Steel and Stitches has great ideas, or they don't have the creativity to come up with their own ideas, or what. I've just noticed there are a few people that Steel and Stitches will be making something, and then here a few weeks later, all of a sudden, the exact same products are popping up in a booth at the same market, and it really can't be an accident. It's just somebody being stupid. So, anyway, that's your sidetrack and your rant for the evening. Um, it When it comes to marketing, be your own person, make your own product, develop your own brand. Don't rely on somebody else coming up with a product and then you just simply copying it. Another one, and okay, you're going to get it. This is going to be a free rant for the night. We'll charge double for the last one. This one's going to be free. It doesn't matter what you're doing as a small business. It doesn't matter what you're doing as an artisan, what your craft is, what you are making. Do not sell yourself short. You're one of the most dangerous things that you can probably do is undervalue yourself because you're trying to chase a dollar. And I get that, it's like you are your own worst critic. So you create a product, something, and like you create a product like this pickle. And You create it and you think, oh, this is cool. I want to make this. And so you make this. You have to go out and buy the yarn. You have to go out and buy the stuffing. You have to go out and buy the rattle that goes in it. Then you have to purchase the pattern to make it. And then after all that, then you've got this thing, and you try to figure out what to sell this for. And you're trying to go through that. Well, there's and you and then comes this incredible balancing act. You're like, well, I know how to do this thing, and I'm really bad at it. So I'm like, I know how to do this thing, so this thing must be a simple thing to do. And if it's a simple thing to do, then there's no real value in it. So I really shouldn't charge very much for it. So, but I know I need to pay for the yarn that I use. I know I need to pay for the material, the stuffing, the rattle, and I know I need to pay for all that stuff that I used in order to make this thing. So you kind of figure out what your cost is, and say if your cost for this thing comes up to $450, and then you're like, okay, well, I made it for $450. I really shouldn't sell it for less than $450. How about, you think if I sell it for if I mark it at $5, people will buy it? And that's a terrible, terrible way to market that. And here's the reason why, is because you just said if it costs you $4.50 of materials to make this thing and you're going to sell it for $5, that means how long did it take you to make that? 30 minutes? An hour? So if it took you, let's say it took you 30 minutes to make this pickle, and you're charging 50 cents over cost for this product, you're saying that your labor is worth less than $1 an hour. Did you ever think of that? Your time has value. Your time should have value. And if Jersey and I have had many conversations about this, and some of them were not pleasant. But eventually, she's kind of come around to my way of thinking on this, to the point that kudos to her. Last year at one of the not one of the farmers markets, but one of the other markets we were at, she was there and she had a price mark on something. And I know how she marks things, and honestly, she doesn't mark them up enough. Just to be completely honest. Um, and the reason she doesn't mark them up enough is because people don't see the value in a product. And um, I'll just say where a product should be marked at $15, she'll mark it at 12. Um, but she was at a market, and somebody came up to her and saw something that was marked at 12, and they said, "Oh, that's really cute. I'll give you $10 for it." What do you do? What do you do in that moment when you know you've calculated the materials cost, you've calculated the cost of your time, and this person is standing in front of you and saying, "You're not worth it. I'll give you less than that for it." What do you do? You're faced with two options. Um, you can either try to chase that dollar and be afraid that you're just not going to make any money, and you can go ahead and take that for $10 instead of 12. Well, this creates a couple of problems when you do that. First of all, if there's anybody else that's around that heard that transaction take place, now all of them feel like that it's open game, and or it's fair game and open season for them to try to negotiate lower prices. So now you've stuck yourself in a position where You have to give everybody a lower price, or you're going to be sitting there listening to them, well, why was she special? Why did she get it cheaper? And you're not going to give it to me cheaper. I should get it for the same price that she got it. So that's the immediate loss that you get. But then there's another long-term loss that you're going to get. And that is that person that just bought that thing from you and walked away will never come back, because if they know that you don't value your product, and if you don't value your product, why would they value their product? And they'll go buy something from somebody else the next time. So yeah, it's a great way to shoot yourself in the foot. Know your value. And yeah, so the reaction to that is you can either cave. The other side of that is you can say, um, the price is the price. If they're going to pay the price, they can pay the price, and they'll accept it. If they don't want to pay the price, they're not your customer. They're just passing through, and it's okay. Know your market, know your customer, know your value. If you don't know your value, you can't market to your market, and you'll never please your customer. It's interesting that some people trying to chase a dollar will mark things down so low that people think that people that see it, they don't perceive any value in it, so they think it must not be worth anything, so they won't buy it. Um, you can a lot of times you'll find that if you raise your prices, you'll sell more stuff. And I know that seems counterintuitive, but it's not always about chasing the bottom dollar. You're raising the price and you're saying, this is what I did. This is what my time and my effort and my skill is worth. And that has value. And if it has value and you are interested in it, then you will pay for that value. Now, when you go to tell somebody that, and when Jersey, when this scenario occurred with Jersey, she was very polite and very courteous to the lady, and she said, "No, I'm sorry. Um, this is my price. This is the price that I have set. This is what it is." And I don't remember if they bought it or not. She handled that very diplomatically. I would probably have not been quite as cordial, because know your value. Your value, it's worth it. And I've had this conversation with several people. I had this conversation with somebody that almost had to talk them into charging me more, because I asked them if they could make me a thing, and this was a custom thing. This wasn't even a regular thing that they did, and um, and it was a thing that I wanted made, and it was probably worth, honestly, if I were to value what they were making, I would have said that the cost to me should have been $100 to $125. And the question they asked me was, is $75 too much? That's not a question you ask your customer. Don't second guess yourself like that. Know your value, set your price. Your customer will appreciate your value and your quality and your skill and will pay your price. You don't have to constantly be copying everybody else and trying to lowball yourself, because when you lowball yourself, the only person you're stealing money from is yourself. You're just ripping yourself off. Um, but yeah, know your value. Find what works for you. Find your market niche. Find the thing that you do that makes you you, so that people know when they think about that thing, they know they can come to you, and they know that they are going to get that quality product from you. They're not going to be like, walking into Walmart and getting something generic off the shelf for a low discount price, but they're getting a quality product made uniquely, individually, just for you. All right, into the soapboxes. Probably. Now that I have went on that rant, now I'm wondering, it's like, was that really appropriate to be like be streaming this to Steel and Stitches when I said all that? But it's too late now, and it's probably true. whether some people would think it's appropriate or not, and it's still true. Anyway, uh, at the farmers market, we got to see Alhambra Orchard and Apiary. They were set up there. Uh, it was funny they'd made and this is that's funny because this is one of the things. Um, I had several conversations with Charlie. My eyes watering. I've had several conversations with Charlie, and he's like, I never know what to bring. He says it's really weird because things that might sell really well a month ago, he says next time I might, they might not do anything. He said, for a while, he said he couldn't practically give away a bar of soap, and then he was at one or two markets, and all of a sudden this soap was flying off the shelf. Um, he didn't change his prices; he just had to wait for people to be ready to buy it. But it was kind of the thing that came in. He he had some honey, and he brought some honey to the market, but he didn't bring. I guess he didn't bring enough. He ran almost completely out of honey before the market was over. So apparently, this was a weekend that everybody wanted honey, which is exciting. I'm so happy for him. I'm glad that he sold out. I'm glad that he sold that much product. That was super great. He'll probably. I'm going to say he's more than likely going to have more honey. He will bring more volume of jars of honey to the next market than what he had at this one. Um, Also, he said there's a possibility that he may have some more apples available. One of his apple varieties he believes is going to be ready um, to bring to market. He thinks he'll be able to pick them sometime this week. So that'll be exciting to see. I'm looking forward to some of his good apples. Pollard Farms and Homestead were there, and it was good to see them. It's always good to see them, get to converse with them, and find out how they're doing and what's going on. Um, they brought something a little bit different because it's made it to that point in the growing season where they had them. They made pickles, and this kind of excited me, and then kind of made me sad. It excited me because I was looking forward to getting some of their pickles. It made me sad because everybody else got to their pickles before I did. Part of that is by intent. Um, I don't. Yeah, I'm there. I'm going to be there like 7:30 in the morning. I can scout out and see what everybody's got ever, before the market ever opens. So if I wanted to, I could go around and I could buy everything possible that I wanted in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the market and make sure that I got all the goodies that I want all for me. I intentionally don't do that. Um, I wait usually until 10:30 ish, and then I'll wander around to see what everybody has, and that's when I make my purchases. I make sure that I don't want to be greedy and I don't want to take all the stuff. Yeah, I would have loved to had a jar of pickles from Pollard this week, but I am really glad that there weren't any pickles for me to get because that means that there are other customers and other people at the market were able to find pickles and able to get pickles. And I hope that every one of those people, if they weren't a previous Pollard customer, I hope that they eat those pickles and realize that they're delicious. And then they want to come back to the market and find them and buy more stuff from them. Because I know that I'll go buy stuff from them whenever I get an opportunity. But I want other people to have a chance to be able to try those products too. So I'm not going to be greedy and get them before everybody else. I very, very much make a concerted effort to make sure that I make sure there's time for everybody to, kind of wander around and check everything out before I go trying to find all the stuff that I want to buy. H&H Produce was there. They were set up and had their stuff going. They actually had to leave early because they ran out of stuff. They've got some garden stuff going on. And like I said, that produce mix that they've got, it changes a little bit from week to week. But yeah, they had some good looking produce, and I saw their tables right at opening, and then I came back by around 10 o'clock, and yeah, there was not very much left on those tables. And then shortly after that, I happened to walk by again and saw them packing up the back of the truck because it was all gone. So and that's great. Uh, it's super exciting when I get to see these vendors that have to leave early because they ran out of stuff to sell. Um, that's a great feeling. That's a great feeling knowing that people came in and they wanted what you had so much that you ran out. Um, and I don't know any, especially any of the like the fresh produce vendors. I don't know any of them that want to take anything home. They would they would love to sell out every week just because they know that it's going and it's going to be consumed and it's going to be appreciated. And if it goes home with them, they're going to, have to, they're going to be eating it all week, or they're going to have to give it away, or, hopefully something productive happens to it and it doesn't just turn into waste. One slight tangent on that. H&H Produce left early. So did one of the other produce vendors. One of the produce vendors that wasn't selling produce. They sold produce there before, but they weren't selling produce this past weekend. I'm telling you what, my eye is just watering like crazy for some reason. Old Ferry Farms. I don't know if you saw this on Facebook or not. Old Ferry Farms, they brought a bunch of mums to the market, and they have one that is huge. And when I say it's this big, I am not exaggerating in the least. It's huge, this mum, and they donated it to the Paragould Farmers Market, and it is being bid on. And the Paragould in Old Ferry Farms donated a huge mum. Actually, let me show this to you. Let me. Okay, so look at the size of this mum. Look, so literally when I tell you that it's huge, I'm not exaggerating. That thing is huge. You can see now these other mums that are behind it are not tiny by any stretch of the imagination, but this, I mean, these back here, yeah, I mean, these are not tiny. They're really good sized mums, but this one here in front is just monstrous. Anyway, so they donated that mum to support the Paragould Farmers Market, and they're bidding. They're open to having bidding on um, the mum, and so if you would be interested in having a huge mum and supporting the Paragould Farmers Market, you can do so by going to the Paragould Farmers Market page and bidding on finding this picture and bidding on this mum on that page. Um, and let's see what we're at right now. So right now, as near as I can tell, the current bid for this enormous mum is $100. So if you would like this mum and you want to pay more than $100 for it, go find this picture on the Paragould Farmers Market Facebook page and bid on it. Comment on this picture with your bid. The highest bid posted at 8 a.m. Saturday, September 28th wins. You will have until 11 a.m. to pick up the mum. If you haven't picked it up by 11 a.m., if you haven't picked it up and paid for it by 11 a.m., then the next lowest bidder. Basically, they're going to start with the highest bidder. You've got until 11 a.m. to buy it. If not, the next person in line gets their shot for whatever their bid was. So if you'd be interested in a giant mum, go check out that picture on the Paragould Facebook Farmers Market page. And like I said, that one was courtesy of Old Ferry Farms in Pocahontas. Something Sweet was at the farmers market this weekend, and buddy, don't bang your head on the desk. It hurts. No, you want up here? Come on. You can come up here and sit with me. Right there. Hi. How you doing, buddy? Something Sweet was at the farmers market, and I went to visit them twice. See, I don't get all of my coffee from Shadrack's. I get it from other places too. Uh, I had got a hot coffee from them in the morning because I just needed some hot coffee because there's nothing like just hot coffee. Um, and just got some hot coffee from them that morning, and then later on in the day, getting closer to around 11:30, it was getting pretty warm, and then I got some cold coffee from them. Got an iced coffee from them. It was pretty delicious, and I really enjoyed both of those. Larry's Cup of Cream was there, and got some lemonade from Larry's Cup of Cream. Strangely enough, did not get a root beer float this week, but did get some lemonade from them though. And I again, there are some people that don't have Facebook pages, or I couldn't find their Facebook pages. Um, but I wanted to make sure that they were mentioned anyway. Clover Hill Produce was another one of the vendors that was there. Saw them; they had a variety of peppers and some salsas and things available. I had some of their salsa a couple weeks ago, and the salsa was delicious. Um, but had their lots of different products and stuff there. All things sourdough had some sourdough brownies, which were very delicious. They were super good. My grandson saw those and he thought they looked delicious, so he bought them and shared them with me, and I was appreciative of them because it was very delicious. Arkansas was there with they now have two different varieties of salsa. They have their flagship mild salsa, and they've now come out and released a hot version of their salsa. So it's a delicious product. Both of them, if you like the extra heat, go for the hot one. If you just like a little bit of heat, but you really like that fresh salsa flavor, then go ahead and get the regular one. Both of them are delicious. I've tried them both, and I recommend them both. Living Light Designs was there. She was set up in a booth not far from hers, and she was giving me grief because apparently I am not. Well, there's no apparently to this, but I am not a morning person. Not by any stretch of the imagination am I a morning person. So about 7:30 in the morning, when I'm sitting there kind of blankly staring off into space, drinking my coffee finally, and she's over there. Smile, be happy, be excited, and I'm like, not awake yet. So, but she was there. It was really nice to see her, be able to visit and talk with her for a little bit, and uh, she has a lot of really, really cool things, and really, I enjoyed looking through her products and stuff and seeing what she had. She does lots of neat little jewelry items and stuff, and super, super cool stuff. And Wits End Produce was there, and this was kind of a joke. If you caught the live from Saturday morning, this was I thought this was just a humorous haha. I thought it was funny, and if you don't, then sorry. But Wits End Produce had a bunch of pumpkins at the market. Yep, it is time for pumpkins. We're almost in October, so yes, it's definitely time for pumpkins. Um, but they had put the pumpkins in the palletized container that they had for bringing the pumpkins to market. Had been used for watermelons earlier in the season, and it's the printing on the side of it says like you know fresh, tasty, sweet watermelons or something like that. So I had to jokingly ask them about their orange watermelons and what they tasted like. So, but yes, Wits End Produce had a lot of great pumpkins. Um, they actually made a phone call in the middle of the morning because they were selling out of their pumpkins so quickly that they actually called and had someone grab some more pumpkins and bring them up to the market. So they kind of had to get a refill in the middle of the day, which was, I mean, hey, that's another good problem to have, right? Saturday was stitching day at Unraveled Yarn Boutique, and I almost feel sad about this. Um, I was exhausted. I did not sleep well at all Friday night. So it was one of those things where was up really, really late Friday night and then overslept, slept through the first alarm Saturday morning. So, yeah, by the time we were done with the market, we wanted to go stop by Unraveled, and it's just too drained in order to be able to make that trip. Wanted to, but unfortunately didn't. We drove past them, but just didn't get a chance to see them. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. Um, Saturday night, actually, DJ Tank went out and did a little bit of work Saturday night, kind of, sort of, a little by accident. Um, Saturday night at LA Nights was a benefit for um, one of the local musicians, Joe Bateman. His mother passed away this past week, and he was so uh, several members of the local musical community and some other people uh, got together and decided they wanted to do a benefit for him. So they organized a benefit for Joe's family Saturday night at LA's and invited just a bunch of musicians. And a bunch of musicians came out and just kind of had a jam session. I think they played in like three or four different groups, and there was a lot of cool people that were there. And my intent was to go up there and just be there for Joe, because I consider Joe a friend, and I have no idea. I have no idea what it's like to lose a parent. I have not yet had to face that. I know I will eventually, and I'm pretty sure I'll be a wreck, but I haven't had to do that yet. Um, Come here, Roto. Roto, come here, lay down. Hey, buddy. But yeah, I haven't had to face that yet. Um, but I can imagine it can't be pleasant. So I went there to see my friend and to provide a little bit of support. What support I could offer uh, was what I was there for, and I really figured that I'd probably be there for like 30 minutes or an hour. Um, then it just kind of worked out that I ended up being there a little longer and ended up while the bands were taking a couple of breaks. I just went ahead and played through the breaks, gave them a chance to kind of, after playing for a little while, believe it or not, you get rather warm and toasty while you're standing up there around all that equipment with all those lights shining on you. So I gave them an opportunity to go step outside and cool off and grab something to drink and rehydrate a little bit and get a chance to relax for a few minutes before they went back and played some more music. So I was honored to be able to take place and be a part of that event. I didn't have a plan to; it just kind of worked out that way that I did. Uh, Saturday afternoon, we this is how we weren't cooking on Saturday after we left the farmers market. Remember me telling you that we were just exhausted. So yeah, we let Lemonade House Grill do the cooking for us on Saturday afternoon. We grabbed that on our way home. Sunday afternoon, uh, we went to go see Bree at Laura's Canine Cuts, and she gave baths and trimmed nails and got the little boys all fancied up. And she did a great job, and it was very much appreciated. And Um, Reese is he's very much a prima donna. He loves to get baths and get all the primping and pampering done and stuff like that. He just thinks that's the super greatest thing in the world. Rolo hasn't quite figured out if he likes it or not, but he seems to be getting more comfortable with it every time we take him. And then after we took the doggos to Breeze, we ran through Scooters and grabbed something. Hey, it was Sunday. Shadrack's was closed. I told you we don't drink all our coffee at one place. We ran through Scooters. We got something to drink. And while we were there, we got a couple of pup cups just as an additional reward for the doggos for being so pleasant and being such good boys when they went to get their baths. And lastly, this has kind of almost become like a Sunday thing for us that Slim Chickens provided us with lunch on Sunday. Because again, nobody felt like cooking. It was a really long weekend. But hey, and that's it. That's all the places and things and stuff that we did over the course of the last couple of weeks and the last week. And that's the and I've probably missed some. I usually I'll be laying in bed going over everything that I talked about tonight, and I'll think, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about that one. Oh, I forgot to mention those guys, and I hate it when that happens because I really do try to remember everybody, and I have a couple ways that I try to take notes of what I do, and sometimes things just get kind of slipped out of the slip my mind and I just miss them. So but I do try to remember everybody that I've talked to. Um, so the only last thing is the last thing, and man, it's been long. Apparently, I was rambling for a long time earlier tonight because we're a little over 47 minutes in right now. But this is the last thing, and this is the last. Well, it's weird to say that. This is the last weekend recap for a little while. At the beginning of the month, I told you about what was going on. That the streaming software that I use, the price is almost doubling, and that's not a cost that I can afford. And it's not a cost that I'm prepared to shoulder. So I also have a family wedding that is coming up in the month of October. So since my renewal date is October 4th, um, this is going to be the final weekend recap for season two. Hopefully, this is not the final weekend recap. My plan is to take off the month of October, and I've been researching and looking into some alternative streaming platforms. So I'm looking for one of those that I like. I'm trying to look at their costs, their feature sets, their ease of use. I'm going to kick the tires on a couple of them. I'm probably going to narrow it. I think I've got like a list of 10 or 15 right now that I'm looking at. I'm probably going to narrow that down to about three, and then I'm going to try each one of them out a little bit behind the scenes just to see how I like them, how I like the interface, how easy it is to work, how useful it is, and how functional it is. Find one that I like at a price that I can afford. And my goal is to, around the 1st of November, to be back and to begin doing these lives focused on our local businesses, our local vendors, our local artisans, and the the things and the people in this local community that keep the local economy and the local community strong. So um, this will be the end of season two. This is the final episode of season two for weekend recap. When we come back, we'll be on a different platform, and we'll just start with season three right there. Anyway, that's it. That's what I have for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know it's been long. These are usually the short ones and the quick ones, but yeah, we're at 49 minutes now. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for enjoying this ride. Thanks for listening to my rant, and thanks for listening to me talk and tell you all about some of the amazing local businesses that we have in the area. Until I see you again in about a month on this, like this is the last week for the streams. Now there'll be 3 more streams this week because we'll do um, DJ Taint's stream. We'll have upcoming local music tomorrow. Thursday, we're going to do upcoming local events. And then Friday will be the Fiber Fun Friday, which will be the final stream on the current platform. But this is the final weekend recap stream uh, for season 2. So thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you again next time, although next time is going to be a little bit down the road. But we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Good night.